High in the mountains of northern New Mexico, between Santa Fe and Taos, lies a most unique land. These are the villages held in the embrace of La Jicarita Mountain, small enclaves settled by Pueblo Indians and Spanish and Mexican explorers centuries ago. Today, the descendants of settlers, explorers, and indigenous people of southern Taos County live here in harmony with the traditions and customs passed down from generation to generation. A proud people whose roots are deep in the land they love and have a foothold in both the modern world and the history of their rich culture and heritage. These are the people of the Rio Lucio, Chamasal, and many other small villages surrounding Peñasco, New Mexico.
Usually when I get up on stage, it's to sing, ¿verdad? So I'll do that. I'll start off with a song to put everybody to sleep, or at least. This is a composition of mine, and as I'll be explaining, from the Vigil family, the contribution to the community was music. That was the main force that we had, and that's where I come from. Pero let me start out with a song that I wrote. The one day I got up and saw myself in the mirror, scared the daylights out of myself. I saw this old man, you know. I was a young man, but the reflection was that of an old man. And so I wrote a song about that. And then, of course, I recorded it in a CD. So I took some pictures of myself with my beard and white hair of the old man. And then my granddaughter got this brilliant idea to spray my hair black with that spray that they use for Halloween. Sprayed it all black, make me look 40, 50 years younger. Took more photographs looking at myself in the mirror. Then we imposed it on the CD, and it looks like a young man is looking at himself in an old fashion. So here's the song anyway. Me vi en el espejo y que me conocí. Pregunté quién es ese viejo, se parece tanto a mí. Pero para mi sorpresa, él me respondió. Yo su rostro reflejé, estaba lleno de arrugas y su piel color café se movía muy despacio y su pelo ya blanqueó, pero con su voz a mi corazón calmó. Quedé mudo por un rato al oírlo hablarme así. Me dijo, no tengas miedo, pues ten confianza en mí. Dije, no seas tonto, ¿cómo puede ser así? De que me hables por el espejo y que yo te pueda oír. Al estarme él hablando, yo su rostro reflejé. Estaba lleno de arrugas you. Thank you. Ahora, the Vigil and the Dominguez family. I come from both of those families, so I'll start out with the Vigil primero. Of course, I did this búsqueda, the ancestry or genealogy, and it took me all the way to the 1600s from the Vigils. But then when I got closer to home, I found out that my grandfather wasn't really Vigil. So he was Duran, but was brought up by a Vigil family. So I got all confused there, so now I got to do another one on the Duranes and see how far I could get. Of course, everybody knows me here. My name is Cipriano Vigil, and I come from both of these families. The Vigil family settled in Rio Lucio and consisted of a large family. This family I'll begin with Rafael Vigil, the grandfather, the root. My grandfather Rafael was born in October 16, 1878, and lived to be, they claim, 105. But I don't know, it could be a little bit more, I don't know. But I remember him at 90, he was still walking straighter than I did. And he was married to Maria Sara Roybal. She came from the Roybal family in the Peñasco and the Picuris area. She lived to be 17 days shy of 100. They had several children. They were Ruben Vigil, who was my father, Cornelio Vigil, my uncle, George Vigil, another uncle that died in the war. I don't know which one though, but probably not the Vietnam, it had to be the Korean War, I think. And then also Ralph Vigil, my uncle. And then my aunts were Aida, Candelaria, Eloisa, Maria, and Jacinta. The Vigil family was very musically inclined. My grandmother, Sara, used to play the organ and also the harmonica. And I remember as a little boy seeing her with a real small harmonica. While she'd be making tortillas, amasando, she'd be playing that harmonica. And I was afraid that she was going to swallow it. You know? Y ahí tocaba, and I guess that's how we got the music in our DNA from her. And then, of course, my grandfather, Rafael, he used to pay musicians and rent the Tom's place, aquí Tomás Robal's place here, and pay to have dances done so that people could get together and dance and socialize, you know. And he would pay out of his pocket for that. And then, of course, Cornelio was an excellent singer, beautiful voice, and composer as well. He used to write a lot of songs. And in fact, in his later years, I helped him record a CD. And he was so proud of that. And I told him, do all your own compositions. That's all, don't do any other songs. So I made him about 40 copies. And he was walking up and down Peñasco selling his CDs to whoever he would corner, you know. He was very proud of it. And I made him happy, at least before he passed on. My other uncle, Ralph Vigil, he and I, when we were in California together, we used to sing together and harmonize. And he had a beautiful voice. And I'm sure he still sings, you know, but of course we don't see each other that often. You know how it is when once you grow up, you separate, everybody goes their own ways, and you lose contact. Okay, now the musicians that my grandfather used to pay were called the Jicarita Mountain Boys, which consisted of, some of them were Los Bizarragas from Peñasco, Fred Anglada from Rio Lucio, Felipe Roybal from Chamizal, Manuel Pacheco from Chamizal, and the famous Luz Lopez. Luz Lopez was probably one of my mentors. As a young boy, I remember I wanted to be like him because he could play the guitar, the saxophone, the mandolin, the violin, the drums. And I said, I want to do the same thing. I want to be able to play several instruments like that. So, and I lived not too far from Luz Lopez in Chamizal. So as a young boy, when I heard music, I knew they were practicing for a dance. So I would do all my chores, metí agua, palitos, jocotitos, and all that. And then I would run out to his house. and I would stand at the door just listening to them. Well, now I have a collection of over 320 some instruments, and I play them as well. Not all at once, pero but I do play all of them. I do presentations in the schools where I take a couple of hundred instruments and demonstrate them to the kids in the schools, show them, give them the history, the origin, and then demonstrate them for them. So I had to teach myself how to play all these instruments. So I got my dream. But anyway, my mother, Sara, was also known as a curandera, a partera, and America, famous for that. She delivered many children here in Peñasco and all the surrounding communities, many children. She also cured many children and adults of various diseases. During her later years, she was recognized by the Medical Association and was awarded a white gown like a nurse, and she had her little briefcase. And in fact, I have a photograph that I'm going to put on the table ahorita to show, so you can see, those who want to see the photographs. And when she got that gown, se lo puso for a whole month, I think. No se lo quitaba. She was so proud of it, and she deserved it. Of course, she used to have this, she called it la casita negra. It was a little house, no windows, just the door, and nothing but shelves all the way around. And she had all kinds of remedios there, and they weren't labeled, but she would go over there and smell it, and she would tell us what it was for. And she knew every herb by its name, just by the smell of it. And of course, she knew what he would cure. I went there one time and I wanted to, with my pencil, and I took notes of the different herbs, but I didn't have a video camera to have filmed it. It would have been perfect for that, but I didn't, unfortunately. And then, of course, like I said, she delivered so many children, but there were a lot of families who were afraid of her, too. They thought that because she knew about herbs that she was a bruja, you know. So they were, in fact, there was a family, I won't say who, pero which family, that she delivered, I think it was 7 or 8 children from this family. And then this family, the last child that they were going to have, they decided to go to the hospital mejor instead of with her. They lost the baby. They lamented the fact that they didn't go with Grandma Sara. And like I say, only the ignorance were the ones that would call her a bruja, you know, because she knew of the remedios or knew what to do. They labored her as that, you know. And she used to say, que me amen lo que quieran, cada yo sé lo que hago. One time, my wife was suffering from women's problems, whatever you call them. But anyway, she would go to the doctor y no. Nada, el doctor la tenía como un guinea pig. Here, if this doesn't work, try this. Y ahí lo tenía en nada. And I would tell her, go to my grandma's. So, oh no, she was one of those that was afraid of her. Well, finally one day, no le dije nada, le dije, let's go for a cruise. So le eché en el carro y I brought her to my grandma's. Y entró como asustada. You know. And she just walked in and sat down in the couch, and my grandma tells her, tú estás enferma. Pa peor. And anyway, so my grandma got up, went to the cocina and got her tea, and made her a tea, and she brought her to her, drink it. And my wife got the cup y me miraba a mí como que, shall I drink it? Go ahead, no te vas a hacer nada, hombre. So she drank it and se lo acabó, you know. Ya nos fuimos a platicar. About half an hour later, that pain that she had and all that sickness was gone completely. And after that, she had 100% faith in my grandma. She had no choice, ¿verdad? But anyway, she was very famous for that. Everybody knew, van con Mana Sara. They used to call her Mana Sara. Nosotros la mano Sarita. Not because she was small, she was a big woman. Very strong también. Amasaba unas joyotas ahí de masa y unas manotas más grandes que las mías. Pero no le dijimos nada porque te metí una cachetada con esa manota. That was it. This family, the members, the Rafael and Sara Vigil spread throughout the country. Some of the aunts ended up in Wyoming, others in California, others in Pennsylvania, and Washington State, and some of my uncles remained here. And like my Uncle Rafael remained here in Lucio. And then the main contribution to the community was the medical assistance and the music. That's what the Vigil family contributed. Now I call it Vigil because that's what we're accustomed to. But I understand that Grandpa Rafael was brought up by a Duran, or he was Duran, was brought up by a Vigil family. I don't know, I have to find out what Duran family belonged to. Pero anyway, we're still Vigiles. It's too late to change back to Duran now. But that was their main contribution, the remedios. And a lot of people learned from my grandma about the herbs, and they still practice them today. And then the music, of course, my uncles, my dad became a violinist. In fact, I took him to Washington, D.C., to the Smithsonian to represent the music of New Mexico. And then my uncle, like I said, composed a lot of songs. And I'd like to share one of the songs that my uncle wrote. Si he les gusta, se llama Ojitos de Canicas, Marble Eyes. Nosotros les decíamos bonitas, esto era canicas. Better tie this up, si no me cae. Ojitos de canicas, el viento me platica que corres por los campos preguntando por mí, que enseñas un retrato, tal vez es el retrato que sacamos juntos cuando te conocí. De canicas, sé que te has extraviado, porque todo ha cambiado, menos mi amor por ti. Si quieres encontrarme, sigue la vederita quise después que te perdí. Ojitos de canicas, sigue la vederita, encontrarás las marcas que dejé yo por ti. Cada marca es un beso de tu dulce boquita. Cuando cuentes 500, me encontrarás a mí. Ojitos de canicas, sigue la vederita, encontrarás las marcas que dejé yo por ti. Cada marca es un beso de tu dulce boquita. Cuando cuentes 500, me encontrarás a mí. Ojitos de canica. That was one of my Uncle Cornelio Vigil's songs. He had many compositions that he had written. Okay, now let me move on so I can be able to mention a little bit of the Dominguez family from Chamizal. Now, the Dominguez family was also a very large family, and it begins with Juan de Jesus Dominguez, which was my great-great-grandfather. Then the father of Concepcion Dominguez, who was the father of my grandfather, Cipriano. And then Concepcion was married to Antonia Arguello, and were the parents of Cipriano Dominguez. And then from my grandmother's side came José Antonio Fresquez, which was my great-great-grandfather, José del Carmen Fresquez, the father of José Casimiro Fresquez, which was the father of my grandmother, who married Plácida Lobato and were the parents of my grandmother, Felicitas Fresquez, who married Cipriano Dominguez and who had my mother, Catalina Kate Dominguez, who was my mother. Now, of course, this large family, they were Juan José Dominguez, which was an educator all his life, Salomón Dominguez, who worked as a tesorero or something in Taos, and then he went to California and worked with the U.S. Marine government. And then also Procopio Dominguez, who became a preacher in California. Candido Dominguez, who worked in Utah in odd jobs. Benjamin Dominguez, which was a rancher but also worked for the Forest Service in Peñasco until he retired from there. And then Fernando Dominguez, which was a politician. He was the youngest of the men. And of course, there were only two sisters, Maria Onésima and my mother Catalina. And Maria Onésima ended up in California, married a preacher by the name of Moises Garcia, and my aunt worked as a social worker all her life until she retired, about 35 years that she put into that. This family also spread out throughout the country, in California, some even married, from Mexico. Let's see, during their young life here in Chamizal, they contributed to these communities, that they were prominent in political and educational circles. In fact, through the efforts of one of my uncles in the politics, that's how they acquired funding to make the Jicarita gym here at the high school in Peñasco. Fernando Dominguez was the one that was instrumental in that. He was also a board member, and that's how they did that. And they worked in county as county treasurers, assessors, served the school boards, and then my mother married Ruben Vigil, the Vigil family, and had 6 children, which were Catherine, who lives in Denver now, myself, and Ruben Jr., lives in Albuquerque, and Betty, who passed away in California many years ago, I don't even remember how long. Rubito, which passed away at the age of 3, and my sister Judy Vigil. And then my mother divorced after a while and married Orlando Vasquez. And they had 3 more children, Enemías, Juanito, and Reina Vasquez. And the contribution, like I said, of the Vigil were the medical, curanderas, parteras of that, herbs, and the music. And the contribution of the Dominguez family was political. They helped with the politics and ranching as well, though, but mostly political, that helped the communities. Let's see what else I have here. Since I inherited from both, because I studied herbology as well, and I studied iridology. By looking into the people's eyes, I could tell more or less que tenían mal and recommend the herbs that they would give them. But it got to a point que people would call me and say, could you look at a picture and do that? No, you have to be live. You know, ya me comenzaban a llamar brujo también. This woman called me from Montevista, Colorado, and she tells me, my son is very sick, and I'm going to send you a picture and look into his eyes and heal him, me say. I don't do that. What's the sickness que tiene? He drinks too much, me say. Oh, that's easy, le digo. ¿Qué? Me quítele la botella. Pero I did that for many years, and people would call me to their homes to do iridology and herbology, and I have a lot of faith in the herbs. I grew up with that through my grandma Sarah. And then over the years, I started, like I said, collecting instruments, studying music. Went and I got a BA degree in music education. Then I got a master's degree in bilingual education with emphasis in fine arts. And then I got another master's in ethnomusicology, the study of the music of the people. Then I got my doctorate in ethnomusicology. Took me 12 years straight as a student. Thank you. Gracias. And now I use myself, I go into the schools to be able to help the kids, if you Chicanito like me can make it, you guys can make it as well, to encourage them and give them that incentive para que vayan. I also, like I said, have a huge selection of instruments. I go to schools and present them to the kids, teach them, educate them. And then also, I build cigar box guitars. And you'll see them in the booth that I have outside. They're going like hotcakes. I haven't sold a single one yet, pero And I also have CDs también. I have 13 CDs. And a book that I wrote about the folk music of New Mexico, which is already considered a treasure by the Endowment for the Humanities, by Union Press, and by me. And thank you. And anyway, also, I go into the schools and I teach the young kids from third grade, even second graders, all the way up to high school, how to build cigar box guitars. And the kids just love them. They go, they're going to be your guitars, pero they get the creativity in building them. They get that hands-on experience. They get to learn how to play them afterwards, and they get to take them home. And I did some here in Peñasco. Unfortunately, the superintendent que tenían at that time didn't want to let the kids have the guitars. She wanted to keep them there in the school. What are you going to do with 48 guitars? The kids build them, let them take them. So I had to instigate a little sabotage there. I had to go to tell the kids, tell your parents about this, so they fight against it so they could take your guitars. And then I got every boy and girl, all the kids, to sign their name real big in the back of the guitar so they would have their name on it as well. I understand there's a couple of guitars left there at the school, so we got to find out whose they belong to so they can give them to those children. But I do this. In fact, this semester, I just finished 140 guitars. Ya me andaba, pero I finished them in 3 schools, and it was worth it. And then at the end, in one school, I had 88 students, and I had them do a presentation of some songs, and they backed me up, and parents even loved it. Anyway, thank you. I do have photographs of the Dominguez family and the Vigil family that I'll put on the table display if you want to see them, look at them después. Pero let me finish. I don't want to be able to go into the next person's time. Finish with the song, a ver a cuál de hago. There's so many que. This one, I just recorded this one on a new CD. That way you guys can go buy it if you don't have it yet. It's called El Hombre Que Más Te Amó, the man that loved you the most. Now this story is about, I saw my children and I realized I'm getting old. My heart is about to give out. It's time for me to start telling them goodbye. And of course I sang it at the Lensing during a concert that we had up in April. I made a lot of people cry. Even my kids were crying up on stage. And this is El Hombre Que Más Te Amó.
Cuando extrañes a tu padre, quien tus mejillas besó, el que veces te abrazaba y a veces te regañó. Recuerda que fue tu padre, el hombre que más te amó. Recuerdas al viejo quien se preocupó por ti. Si de él quisieras un beso y ya no me encuentro aquí, a tu madre pídele uno de tantos que yo le di. Por donde camina, topar con piedras con las que yo tropecé. Cuando extrañes a tu padre que al cielo se fue con Dios, si quisieras abrazarlo y demostrarle tu amor, los besos que des a tu hijo, allá los recibo yo. Si un día recuerdas al viejo, quien se preocupó por ti, si de él quisieras un beso, y ya no me encuentro aquí, a tu madre pídele uno de tantos que yo le di. Gracias. Thank you. Muchas gracias. And now I'm going to put some of the photographs out there if you want, anybody wants to look at them. And, thank you. Anybody has any questions? Yes.
So anyway, I don't remember this, but you just reminded me of something that two of my cousins have told me about at Tom's place. They said that the women would stand on one side and the men would stand on the other side, and then when they danced, Sarita would come and take a dive. That was how they got paid. So,
Right.
I think
Well,
that's
there's
very-
several stories about that. But what I remember is that the women would sit on the benches around, and all the men were standing by the door. And when the music started, all the hombres corrían to try to get a woman, to dance, you know. Ya ves que tropezaban con unos con los otros ahí. Ya ves que se peleaban porque the same ones wanted to dance with the same woman. So, había unas peleotas tremendas, bueno. Pero pronto se contentaban, you know. But also, cuando la mujer de Luz López, que se llamaba Evangelina, cuando Luz López tocaba, he wouldn't charge at the door. He would charge for every song that he did. Mana Evangelina would go around collecting a dime from all the people. And if they were dancing, if they were too busy, she would stick her hand in their pocket and look for that dime. Y luego se enojaba Mano Luz con ella. ¿Qué andaba metiendo la mano? Y una vez me acuerdo que Mano Luz López aprendió una canción en inglés que se llamaba Bluebirds Are Flying. Y cuando comenzó a cantarla, comenzó con que Bloomers are flying. Y nosotros estábamos muertos de la risa. Pero that was... He used to do a song very popular. I'm just driving nails in my coffin. Every time I drink, and he used to say balaboo, and it was a bottle of booze, you know. I'm just driving nails in my coffin, driving those nails over you. Y luego tocaba el violín, and he had, when he sang it, the violin was electric, so to be able to get his voice in the amplifier, he would put his violin in front of his face, and all you could see was la grenita acá arriba. Beautiful story. I wish I would have had a video to have filmed all of that. I still have it in my mind, pero... Anyway, but yes, it's true. The women, in my time, they used to sit around the benches, and redondo, and the the men would stand by the door, and then they would rush como locos to get it well. And some of the girls were abusadas, like they say. They would reject one because they were waiting for the one that they wanted to dance with.
Oh, iba a decir que doña Angelita.
¿Mande?
No, doña Angelita no se le olvidaba quién andaba bailando. Aunque
Oh, no, se acordaba todo. Ya.
el salón lleno.
Ya.
Ella
Sabía cuál le había cobrado y todo. Ya.
escapar,
Yeah.
se los hallaban.
Yeah, she wouldn't forget. You know how they would be dancing, no? And she collected from one, and if one was trying to get away from paying, she'd catch him. She knew each one that was dancing. El viejo y yo. Thank you.